Haven Village is a private residential model located here in Old Fort, Tennessee, focused on healthy hemp homes, food security, and freedom. We're currently accepting our next tier of residential members.
When I speak to people about what we're doing, I really say we're just a new model of development that actually honors the earth and puts the power back in our hands to create the life that we want to create.
For me, as a mother, I've been kind of on this search for a place to call home and a safe place really to raise my children, knowing that it was going to be critical getting back to the land and not necessarily knowing how that was going to happen.
The birth of Haven Village, the conception of Haven Village really started when we first met in 2021, and we started traveling and we were getting people out there and kind of creating community. We were creating a network of people who were looking for a way out of the system. They understood they wanted their freedom and it wasn't necessarily possible. So we started looking for land. We kind of created our checklist of what was going to be necessary to make this happen. It really became a tug of war between Texas and Tennessee as the two states that really were embodying freedom and a different mindset. Tennessee, there was something really profound about this Appalachian region that kept pulling us back. We needed a very specific area to do what we wanted to do because you can't necessarily do it everywhere. And when this land came into our field of view, and we met the land steward, we connected with the land steward, and him sharing his vision of this land, we kind of knew right away that this really was the place that we could make it happen.
Okay. Excited to have you here. We're gonna get started. This is the master plan that River made over a year ago, April, after he first came to the land. He made this. So this was like the conceptual idea. After that, to kind of share the bigger plan. Now some things have shifted, and this is what we were doing, going and visiting people's land and doing master plans. River was doing it. I was just helping.
Got my crayons out.
Yeah, but it gives direction and gives clarity.
I think that having a vision and really getting that clear is probably one of the most important things. You know, the other stuff's all kind of practical and stuff like that, but there is somewhat of a spiritual component, I think, to doing something like this, because we're spiritual beings and there's a part of us that's looking for that.
So as of June 2024, we've established what we call Zone 1, or our base camp, which allowed us to get back to the land quickly, to have people living here on site in temporary structures, such as our yurts, as well as glamping tents where we could host people to come visit the land or attend one of our natural building workshops. This area is what we would call common space that's allowing us to set up our headquarters, our food security measures with the animals and the gardens, our commercial kitchen where we're going to be producing and preserving food, and our kind of temporary workshop until we move out into the residential builds across the way. And those areas are really adjacent kind of to this Zone 1, which is really a common space that's going to be shared by people and eventually in the future probably be our town center with the surrounding neighborhoods, the various villages that are where our residential members are going to be building.
Haven Village is really about creating healthy hemp homes. After spending 20 years in the construction industry and all the architectural education that I had, I saw the building industry was really unhealthy in so many ways. The building materials that we're using are all petrochemical based. They're all chemical based building materials to seal in our structures as tight as possible and control that indoor environment. And that's creating all kinds of issues with the sick building syndromes. And so I was on a search for a healthy natural building material that we'd be able to implement in that space of constructing our homes. And a lot of the alternatives weren't able to scale up like hempcrete is. This is really a revolutionary building material. It's an agricultural byproduct. And the academia now is really understanding this as the next evolution of architecture, because we're having a new focus on health. And we spend most of our time indoors inside of our homes. And so this should really be the healthiest place that we get to experience. And so, hempcrete or hemp lime as it's called, is really creating this system that is a naturally breathing home system. The walls that we're building are mold resistant, rot resistant, fire resistant, insect resistant, and they're super insulating. It has a thermal mass quality too. It can store heat energy in the walls. And what we're trying to do here is showcase how we can build these homes in such a way that we have beautiful structures to live in that are also servicing our health needs. And this is really the next evolution of architecture, and we're here at Haven Village are going to be a model for that into the future, because this is an industry that's coming up right now and it's going to be really big.
Here at Haven Village, a lot of people are being attracted to what we're doing because they're really looking for a healthy home environment. So many people have dealt with toxic homes, specifically mold. But when you look at all of the materials that go in that River talked about that comprise a typical home today, there is compounding materials that are making people sick. And I've talked to so many people, so many mothers with young children, elderly people that have been exposed to mold, that have been compromised in their health because of the toxic materials, and actually have become quite sensitive to environments where they can't even live in a normal home. We have people that have moved out of their home to another home and kind of hopping from home to home in search for a solution. And that's what's so exciting for me when River and I met, and I really learned about hemp and how it works in this home environment, because it solves so many of the problems. It just checks everything off the list, because you don't need to get the air purification systems, you don't need to worry about the paints and what's on the floor. The hemp fills the walls with materials that you're not going to be dealing with a mold situation, and then you're dealing with lime plaster that you can, totally natural material, beautiful quality, where you're having pretty much everything that you want, the health aspect of it and the aesthetic aspect of it. So it's a great solution for people that are conscious and looking for that next level of living in a really beautiful and healthy home environment.
My name is Ryan. I'm a lead on the Haven Earth build team here in East Tennessee, where we are reintroducing the greatest agricultural resource known to mankind in the form of healthy hemp homes. Right here behind me is the inner woody core of the hemp stock, known here in America as hemp hurd. This amount of hurd can make about 4 houses with the size that we're building, but this is about 40,000 pounds of hemp hurd here. Industrial hemp is the most productive biomass material known to mankind, grows faster, produces more material. Being one of the most productive crops, competed with a lot of other industries and was taken away due to corporate influence. And it has now been reintroduced, and the cat's out the bag, and it is back on the menu here in the United States.
I think people should be excited about hemp because this is giving us a way to produce things like food, shelter, and fuel sustainably and locally. So we can use the grain for food, nutraceuticals and pharmaceuticals. We can use the fiber for papers, plastics, textiles, and we can use the hurd to build healthy, resilient, and sustainable homes, all from the farms locally. I think there's a lot of demand, especially from a lot of bigger companies that are looking for ways to build more resilient supply chains that are based here in the US. And so the industry, I would still say, is young, but it's growing really fast. And there's a lot of interest, not only from private entities, but from public government entities as well. In the US here, we're the largest agricultural exporter in the world. And if we're good at one thing, it's producing. And so if we have something like this that's extremely versatile and can go into a bunch of different industries, we can produce it really well and create a whole new economic, agricultural sector that helps everybody. Even though it's an old-fashioned way of building, it's definitely the future.
So the Haven Village model is a private model based on the Trinity, consisting of a private membership association, which many people now know as a PMA, and then the Ministry of Nature, which is the kind of original church model, the 508c1a, and with the land specifically an irrevocable trust. And it's the combination of these three working together that really gives the protection and the privacy that allows us to maintain the sanctity of our mission and to steward this land and make sure that it remains intact.
Our legal system, the Constitution of this country was founded on God's law. was founded on natural law. And what's happened over time is that has been co-opted by what we would call a legal system as opposed to a lawful system. And the private model, the private membership association, the ministry, is going back to that constitutional model, to God's law, to natural law. And so it's an ecclesiastical model. So all the language in that cannot be disputed. Otherwise, they would have to dispute the actual foundations of the Constitution, which is God's law. So they are all tied back into the original constitutional law, which is the ecclesiastical law. And what's happened in the legal system since then is all the bylaws and all of them things that have created a system of legality to trap people within contracts and agreements that they aren't even aware of. And we have these inalienable rights, God-given rights. And with the ministry and with the private membership association, we are just activating them inalienable rights. It's not something new that's being created. It's actually the opposite. It's something old that always was the root of our lawful system of natural law. So it's kind of creating a new model with the existing system. It's a bridge. It's not necessarily where we're going, but it's where
How to get there.
the vehicle we can use to drive there, basically. And once we get to the destination, then there'll be no longer any use for it, because there won't be any attempt to take our freedom. But right now, we need to protect our freedom, and we need to protect our wealth, we need to protect our sovereignty, and we need to protect the land that we're living on. So we want to look at where the residential areas are in the master plan. Really kind of better understand like the development strategy and how we want to lay out things on the land. So yeah, this is our makerspace building. It's a 40 by 72 foot, 2,700 square foot Conestoga steel building and a Quonset hut. And it's really fast to put these up. We built a super strong slab here. And then the function of this is to provide an enclosed space for our building materials, for our workshop space, and where we can basically launch the build projects, the hemp build projects, which are going to be happening in the fields behind us over the next months. It's going to start up. And then in a few years, once we get through all of the build out of the village, then this building is part of the village. So it becomes part of the residence structures, which could be pottery studios, can be, appropriated by the residents. And so, it's really important to have these multifunctional buildings as well, that, we can have storage, we can have, we'll put the end walls on here, we'll put big doors in here, we can build modular systems in here, we can build wall sections, we can do all kinds of stuff during the winter in them times as well. So it's a really pivotal part of our development in the construction process. Yeah, this is one of my favorite spots to come and meditate and just be on the land, because that side over there, that's the property as well on that other side. So we're basically in our own little valley here, but it's not it's not like a tight valley where you lose the light. It's actually very voluptuous and welcoming here. And then so we have residential areas on the other side of the road over there. Behind these trees over here, it's June right now, but these are evergreens, so even through the winter time we have cover. And then on the backside of them is where we were talking earlier about the pioneer village that we'll be building out. But behind us over here is other building sites back here on the southeast corner of the property. And that's the Georgia state line right there with the tree line over there. And then we're looking at potentially developing some 1 acre and half acre lots back here as well. But right now, because we're focusing more in closer proximity to where we have power and other things, this will be like a later part of the development. But really important part of what we're doing here actually is we're not interested in developing the land outright in the sense of like you would as a developer. You chop it all up into 10-acre parcels to get your best bang for your dollar. But the way we're doing it is smaller lots, but everybody has the right to use the whole property. So instead of you know, having your 10 acre and that's all you have your 1 acre, your half acre, your quarter acre, but then you have another 180 or 200 acres to explore. So we're in June now, and as you can see, it's very lush here. This is the area which is going to be the half acre and 1 acre lots over here. And it has its own private entrance from the county road over here. So, you know, for all intents and purposes, this can be a private cluster of houses. And the plan is to develop between 10 and 12 residential lots over here. And on the other side of these trees over there, which is there's a little pond catchment there, there's another 3 or 4 acres over there. So that this whole area, and we'll be bringing a road in here, a gravel road down, and then we're going to keep all of this area in the back up here will be, you know, for general use for everybody. And then, you know, this is a great pathway that takes you up to the ridge, to the top of the property, and then you get all of the panoramic views to the west from up there. It's a little overgrown right now, but there's just these panoramic views that go out into the west, and this ridge is really the buffer for us, actually. And we're right in the foothills of the Cherokee Mountains, so kind of from here it kind of flattens out quite a bit, actually. So you can really see the expansive views for miles and miles and miles as far as you can see, which I think really is part of our daily and just life experience. We want that. We want the vistas. Like, it helps us to actually dream bigger. So we love this spot, and this is going to be like we were talking about making this a really cool honeymoon spot up here, where a couple could come and we, you know, have breakfast over on the east side, and then they can come and have the sunset dinner over here. So it's a really awesome spot. We feed fresh, clean water from our well, gravity fed all the way down the hill to our yurts, to our commercial kitchen, to other parts of the property. And it's roughly 150 feet of pressure coming down, so we have full pressure in the showers and everything, and we don't need pumps. So it's great. And then we just have this on a timer, so every day when it's sunny, it's just pumping about 500 gallons a day into this tank, and then that seems to be enough to keep everything filled up. And this is like a really awesome mushroom holler where they have a lot of mushroom picking and stuff down there. But the idea is really to keep this as much wilderness as possible.
Tonight marks our first full moon farm to table dinner. This is something that we plan to do seasonally. Food security is of utmost importance to everyone that's coming here to be residential members at Haven Village. And this farm to table dinner is extra special because it marks our 1-year anniversary being here on the land with our members for the first time after we made an offer. And it's a really abundant time of the year with summer coming into full swing. So we have a lot of producers that we've formed partnerships with since we've arrived on the land. So everything in this meal is sourced within 1 hour. And that's really exciting to be in such an area where so much abundance, and not just produce, but locally sourced meat, locally sourced dairy, organic sourdough bread. We have an apple orchard 10 minutes away. We have so much here that we can take from, but also learn from. And that's really part of our strategy in creating our initial infrastructures for our own food production, but being able to leverage these relationships and people that are already ahead of us on this learning curve where we can learn from them, we can exchange information, we can source our pigs, we can source our chickens, we can grow things that other people aren't growing so that we can actually create this network. And I think when we're returning to the land, it's really important to know that it's not something that we do alone. And it's not just the members of our community here, but it's the surrounding community that's equally important for us. It's really about reviving these agricultural areas so that we can get back to where we came from when people produced all their own food. So that's really one of our main objectives. As much as we are building healthy hemp homes and love that, we know that at the same time we need to create these food systems for ourselves and the members for our future.
I'm Laura Dane. I'm standing in the middle of my future hemp home. This is the first hemp home to be built in Haven Village. Super, super excited to be part of this project. I've been dreaming in a healthy home for many years, and when I first learned about hemp, it rang many bells. And this design that River has done is just so beautiful. And I've been here for a couple weeks with the builders and the hempers, and they're just an amazing team, inspired and enthusiastic, and it's just been so much fun to be a part of building my own home. And yeah, very excited. We've been hemping for the last, I guess, 14 days now, not even. And we've got 3 sides of the home finished, and we've got 1 more to go. And then we'll start with the lime plaster and all the details, windows, doors. Yeah, so very, very happy to be here.
We're currently accepting our second tier of residential members. The first group of founders really initiated the purchase of the land and the initial infrastructure. This second tier is going to take us through the next phase as we start to do the build out of the residential hemp homes. One of the things that we get most often from people that are interested in what we're doing is that I have to come and check it out. I have to come be there and experience it. I want to feel the land. I want to meet the people. And so we're really at a point right now where we're able to facilitate that. We do that through our open house and our events, but we also have the ability to have people come and stay on the land so that they can actually have a firsthand experience to see, to feel if this might be something that's in their future.
People want healthy food, they want to live in a healthy home, and they don't want to be told what to do by the government. It is these common things that actually hold us strong because we're willing to defend them things together.
The most important thing that we're all looking for is to get back to that personal sovereignty, and not just for ourselves but for our families, and allow that to carry through to the future generations so that we can truly weather these times ahead. We know that we need to get the food security measures in place. We know that healthy homes, with what people are dealing with the level of toxins in our current day world, are a big issue, and we know that we need to find ways to do it together. Doing a solo homesteading is not the solution. We know that there's the power in numbers for us to actually be able to leverage the resources, the energy, the life force, the manpower, people power to really make these kinds of things happen. You do not have to do it all alone. I think that would be one of the strongest aspects of what Haven Village has to offer, is the sense that you're not alone and you don't need to do it alone. A decade or two from now, Haven Earth will be flourishing. There will be micro enterprises, our residential homes will be complete and built, and people will be living out the dream.
This project's going to be seen as one of them projects that were part of the change, actually. And people are going to look back and see communities and projects like this that were actually pioneering this future model. And the people keep referring back to this, like, see how they did it.
So if you're feeling the call back to the land, and if anything we've shared resonates with you, we invite you to come check us out, and you can look us up online at havenvillage.net.
Well, in the past year since we made this video, a lot has changed. We've grown a lot. We've learned a lot. One of the most key parts of our success in the last year has been completing our first residential hemp home. We're actually sitting in Laura's hemp home right now, which you would have seen being built in the first part of the video. This really has kind of dialed in a lot of things for us, and it's kind of set us on a course to be able to really move forward at a pace to build out more houses. Already in this neighborhood, the Pioneer Way neighborhood, we have infrastructure in place for another 3 hemp homes where the well, water, septic, power, road, everything's ready to go. We've also established the Harmony Hill neighborhood, which is across the way, and that has 13 residential lots. We're about to start hemping the first hemp house over there, and we're already in design with another 2 hemp houses over there. And that has put us in a really good position to understand how to execute on these projects in a timely way and on budget. And so that's been a major milestone for us here. And then really the farm and the development of the farm over the last year has been really key. And we have all our animals now. We have the cattle, we have pigs, goats, chickens and rabbits. And we've been able to really work with the livestock to be able to produce food from the land that's been supporting us, and also the gardens and the greenhouse and all of the vegetables that we've been able to grow has been a key success this year, and also kind of bringing in support to help us with that. We've made some really amazing relationships, and we're bringing in kind of support on the farm and in the maintenance side of things. Also, we've developed some of our councils and security measures and all these things like this. We have really tried out some of our off-grid systems as well in the last year, where we've been able to, when the grid's gone down, we've been able to kind of keep everything running, so that we haven't really had a lot of effect on life here, which is a real testament to what we put in place in the first 2 years. And lastly, and probably most importantly, is the private residential model. It feels like in the last year we hit some milestones. We learned a lot. We went through a lot. We really tried out and kind of tested the model, and it feels like now we're really embodying that. It's not just an idea or a concept anymore. It's really, we've kind of really come to embody it and really understand it to the point now where we can share that with people in a way that feels really grounded in kind of a part of what we're doing here, not as a separate thing that stands on its own, but really as an integral part of the Haven Village model that we're pioneering.
So what we've created is the resiliency membership. It's a pathway towards residential membership, but it gives people more time. One of the things that we've learned in this past year is that some people are ready to make a move right now, and others need a lot more time. Everybody has a lot of different things going on. So what we've done is sort of stretch the timeline so it allows people to actively engage and participate in building out the Haven Earth model, but it's taking the pressure of having to pick a lot, build a house, or design a house so that people can relax into this. And I think that when we're in a relaxed state, we actually get to know each other a little bit more in a better kind of way. And people are wanting to actually learn real skills. So they come and spend time on the land. They get to be with the animals. They get to meet like-minded others, build an incredible support network, learn real-life homesteading skills, because it's really important to skill up before you make the move to the land. And that's something that you can really get to know a lot about people when you're working on group projects together. And the other important piece to that is that people get to really understand this private model that River was mentioning and really embody it themselves. We share our private docs. We make sure that you have all of your questions answered, because we want to make sure that Haven Village is a right fit for you, and we want to make sure you're a right fit for Haven Village. And so the way to go about this process and learn more about the resiliency membership is to go to our website at havenearthtradeschool.net, click the membership link, you'll read some more information. On there, there'll be a link to an application, which you need to fill out first. And once you do that, we will send you more information as well as a link to an informative webinar. And after that point, If we feel like you're a good fit, we're going to invite you to come to one of our resiliency immersions. We have several in the fall and in the spring, because spending time together is really the best way for you and for us to know if Haven Village is a place for you to call home. So if that sounds good, we look forward to hearing from you soon.
Yay.